Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we will be going over Ocugen, ticker symbol OCGN, as this company has been going absolutely off the walls. As you can see here, the company is currently sitting at about $5.25, but that is before adding the $3.36, or the 64% gain that they have seen after hours over this last weekend. They are currently up to about $8.61 and still growing. This company is absolutely taking off. Well, this company actually was brought to me by one of my Patreon members. You guys are so on it. Anytime you see any news, anytime you see anything important, you always let me know. If you do want to be involved in this community of over 150 different people, if you want access to my trades, if you want access to my portfolio, my trading team, early access to the content that I'm going to be posting on this channel, all of this, definitely head down to the link in the description. It'll bring you over to my Patreon, and this is where you can get all of that very transparent info. Also, if you are just getting started, or if you want to expand out to a new brokerage, I'm happy to announce that I am now an affiliate with Webull. If you do use the referral link in my description, you can get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850. This brokerage is absolutely amazing. They just added crypto. They're currently making changes. They're always evolving. They're always getting better, and I absolutely love them. So definitely consider going down there and starting your own, your own journey with this brokerage, as they are absolutely phenomenal. So what in the world is going on with this company? Well, just to start off with that, Ocugen is a biopharmaceutical company focused on discovering, developing, and commercializing transformative therapies to treat blindness diseases. Our breakthrough modifier gene therapy platform has the potential to treat multiple retinal diseases with one drug, one to many. Their novel biologic product candidate aims to offer better therapy to patients with underserved diseases such as wet age-related macular degeneration, diabetic macular edema, and diabetic retinopathy. So this is a company that does typically focus more on blindness diseases, but as we will see in a minute here, they're starting to somewhat sway away from that for the short term, as there is a very large opportunity at hand. Well, with that being said, if we do take a look at their pipeline, we see that they do have loads of products that are starting to go into testing. They've discovered a whole bunch of different products. They have some of them going through IND enabling, which is the step right before they go through their phase 1, 2, and 3 trials. They have one that was just recently discovered. They have some more going right into IND enabling pretty soon here, but there is an elephant in the room. There's something that's a little bit different than everything else, and of course that is going to be this here vaccine. So if we do go up to the top of this article released by Yahoo Finance, we can see here that it is official that a new blank vaccine candidate has entered the fray. On Tuesday, Ocugen announced it had finalized its deal with India-based Bharat Biotech. Ocugen will take on all aspects of US-based responsibilities, including clinical development, regulatory approval, and commercialization. Now, if the vaccine is granted an EUA, which is emergency use approval, Bharat anticipates supplying the US market's initial vaccine doses. Bharat in return will be eligible for 55% of US sales profits, with Ocugen retaining the other 45%. Well, I will say that with Ocugen, that does sound like a very good deal. I mean, yes, they are going to have a lot of work cut out for them, as they are going to be having to go through the clinical development, regulatory approval, and commercialization, of course. But considering they weren't the ones who had to put all of the upfront money to get it through the phase 1 and 2 and all of the other processes before that, and they didn't have to do all of the research and science to even come up with this vaccine, I would say that taking on 45% of all of the profits for the services in which they are going to be providing is a fantastic deal. Now, Ocugen gets a head start, as the vaccine has already been granted emergency use authorization in India, and it also currently is in phase 3 study with nearly 26,000 subjects enrolled. So this is super duper important for Ocugen, because as they did say in the article, again, this has already been something that's gotten an EUA in India, and it's already in phase 3 trials. So it's already proven, and it's shown that the Indian government believes that it is going to be beneficial and can help with the overall situation that we are seeing. So whenever a big major country like that does say that they believe it's going to help with this pandemic, and that they think it has loads of potential, and it's already cleared phase 1 and 2, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing get its own EUA here in the US much faster and start to see it really roll out, honestly, sometime soon. Now, this is no normal vaccine. According to one of H.C. Wainwright's analysts, that there is some very distinct qualities that set it apart from competition. Compared to other vaccines currently authorized under EUA, this vaccine could introduce more broad immunity targeting multiple viral proteins, potentially resulting in better protection protection against emerging mutant viruses, such as the UK and South African variants. Now, that is very, very important because one issue we're seeing here, especially in the US, is that we're getting a lot of vaccines for the first strains, but there's multiple strains that are starting to come out that the first doses of the vaccines aren't actually protecting against. So if this vaccine itself is capable of protecting against multiple variants through a larger defensive method, that would be very, very big, and that would clearly, as he said, set it apart from many, many other vaccines and all of the other competition that we have seen emerge over the last couple of weeks and months. Now, furthermore, it does say that given the dire need for blank vaccines, Ramakanth believes that should the Indian phase 3 study display more than a 50% success rate, that there's a possibility the FDA could make an unprecedented move and grant Covaxin EUA status. Well, that would be very, very big for this company. It would be big for both Bharat Biotech and Ocugen. I could really see both of these companies starting to flourish, and I'm so excited to see what does result of this agreement and if they are capable of getting all of these different approvals. This news was absolutely huge for Ocugen, and it doesn't surprise me at all to see them starting to climb this month. I mean, they have really taken off. Over the last month, they are up over 190% since February. Absolutely insane. They've seen massive growth, and with all of this good news, if this news does continue, I would not be surprised whatsoever to see this, this success continue. So I was literally in the middle of editing this video. I called it a wrap. I did my outro. I did everything. I had the video exported, everything ready to go, and next thing you know, I check my phone. One of my Patreon members sends me this and says, wait, pause, don't finish your video, you got a little bit more to talk about, right? I told him that I was making this video in advance, and so the fact that he already sent me this is absolutely hilarious. But as we do see here, it says that Ocugen Inc. announces $23 million registered direct offering of common stock priced at a premium to the market. Now, honestly, this does not surprise me whatsoever. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever after hearing what we just did about this agreement that they came to. Now, it says here that the gross proceeds of the offering are expected to be approximately $23 million prior to deducting placement agency fees and other expenses. Ocugen intends to use the net proceeds from the offerings for general corporate purposes, capital expenditures, working capital, and general and administrative expenses. Okay, well, we know they always say this, right? Corporate expenses and all this other stuff, but I think it's pretty clear to see why this came around. If we do remember earlier in the video, I said that Ocugen will take on all aspects of US-based responsibilities, including clinical development, regulatory approval, and commercialization. So clearly this entire process right here is going to require funds. It is not going to be cheap, and it is definitely not going to be free. I mean, going through the clinical development is going to cost a lot in itself. Getting regulatory approval, there are just certain fees in which they have to pay, and then commercialization and going through advertising and doing all of that also takes money. And so the fact that this soon after we did get all of this news that we did see a registered direct offering, I'm assuming that the majority of all of this money is going to go into these 3 steps and getting it out there, because we got to remember, if they're capable of making this all work, they will retain 45% of all profits. So yeah, this might be a direct offering, and some people get worried about dilution and everything, but the fact that we pretty much know that this company will be using this capital in order to reinvest it back in itself to get this overall mission to get this vaccine out, I'm not worried about it. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I think that this is going to be a very large step. I was actually saying towards the end of the video, I wouldn't be surprised to see an offering coming soon, because I wouldn't be surprised if they needed more capital to actually fund this operation, because they did have enough cash to do what they were doing before, but it did seem like they were somewhat short on cash to actually be able to hold on to all of the other trials and stuff that they're doing with their other products in their pipeline, and now begin getting all of these different steps going for this vaccine. So again, this was very, very random, and this was very just in the moment, so I did just want to make sure that I did throw this in here, because this is super duper important, as it does show that they are very, very fast moving whenever it comes to getting this vaccine out. I hope you guys did enjoy today's somewhat analysis and somewhat info, news video. If you guys did enjoy today's video, you can let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. With that being said, I do post on this channel 2 to 3 times every single day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.